Welcome to Marvel Champions Podcast, a podcast about Marvel Champions, the card game. I am your host, Scott, and with me, as always, my co-host, Ryan.
Hey, how is it going?
It's going pretty good, Ryan. What you been up to?
Just playing some Marvel Champions, kicking butt, getting my butt kicked.
Oh, who's been kicking your butt, Ryan?
Dark Beast.
He can do that. He likes butts. Kicking butts, that is. He likes to kick butts.
He likes to kick butts. All right, yeah. He's been kicking my butt lately. I've been playing against him, and I lost. I was playing with a deck and lost, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna beat him. And then I played again and lost, and then I played again and lost.
Strange?
I did not play Doctor Strange.
Okay,
but I went through several heroes and lost, but I eventually beat him.
Now, were you playing with your modified homebrew rules?
I was, and those actually did not really. They weren't the reasons why I lost. So
okay,
I lost because Dark Beast can all of a sudden, like in a moment's notice, do high damage or thwart out.
That's a thing.
So,
well, yeah. I won't spoil what your homebrew is, Ryan. I'm going to tell everybody to go back and listen to our Dark Beast episode.
I have been refining it a little bit more, but yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, what's on the docket for tonight?
I think we're gonna do another one of these. What do you call it? Versus.
Ding ding ding.
Let's get ready to compare cards.
All right, Ryan. Do you want to kick off with yours first tonight? And I'll go second?
Yeah, why not? Let's see, last time I did 2 aspect cards, a Justice and Protection. I think this time I'm also gonna go Justice and Protection.
Oh, how did I know? Now, I've got a question before you go, Ryan.
Oh, no.
Do you feel that these are probably your most 2 played aspects?
Yes.
Okay.
That's easily yes. I play Protection and Justice the most. I play Aggression the least, and then Leadership's right there.
Yeah. I'm close. I would say I'm probably a Protection Aggression.
Red and green. What color does that make?
Christmas.
What does yellow and green make? Jamaica.
Like greenish yellow. Neither of those. The green is what ruins all your things you're trying to do.
Yeah, it's the booger color.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if people are catching on to this versus, we're of course finding 2 cards that are very similar. And I think people could probably guess that this one was going to be coming up eventually. And that is the Justice card of One Way or Another and Protection Taunt.
I wouldn't say newer. One Way or Another's been out for a little while. Taunt's relatively new.
Yes.
Okay, Ryan. Which one you want? I think I know which one you like more.
We shall see. I will go ahead and do the alphabetical. I'll do One Way or Another. It came first.
Okay.
And it is One Way or Another, max 1 per round. Hero action. Search the encounter deck for a side scheme. Reveal that side scheme. Draw 3 cards. And then shuffle the encounter deck. 0 cost. Did I say zero cost event?
You did not say that, but yeah. All right. And Taunt is a 1 cost protection event. Tactic. Hero action. The villain attacks you. Other characters cannot defend against this attack. Draw 3 cards.
Ooh.
All right, Ryan. Let me hear it. Versus.
Oh, man. Fight! I like both of them. If I play Justice or Protection, I'm generally including one of these. Well, let me rephrase it. If I play Justice, I always include at least one way or another. If I play Protection, majority of the times I will play at least one taunt. But it may not, depending on how I've structured my Protection build.
So it's a little character dependent in that case.
Yes, yeah. Because if I'm focusing with Protection, as in I'm defending a lot, then yes, I will include taunt. But if I'm focusing Protection more on like readying a lot, I don't know if I'll include taunt every time, but there's a really good chance I still will include it.
Okay. So I think the similarities of the two cards is the end result, right? The draw 3 cards.
Correct. Yep.
Which is really good. 3 cards
Yes.
is good.
Yep. I think the 0 cost for one way or another is really nice. And you can just you can search the entire encounter deck, find the side scheme you want. So you don't have to choose from like the top or whatever. You can be very selective on what you put out, knowing that you're probably going to try to get rid of it as quick as possible as well. So I think that manipulation of the encounter deck is really nice.
Okay. So one negative is that if you don't have a side scheme in the encounter deck, it will whiff.
Yes, and it has happened to me.
So I think another negative on this one is max 1 per round.
Yep.
So those are 2 things going against it.
Yes, those are the 2 biggest things, in my opinion, that hurt one way or another.
So the other thing that you can only have 1 side scheme left, and you're stuck with that one.
Yes.
And you can have any random. Now, does it put it? No, it's reveal. So you would have to resolve any when revealed effects.
Mm-hmm. It can be pretty nasty.
So you could have some downside and icons that come out if you couldn't get rid of it, or would have to deal with the when revealed.
Yep.
So you could potentially when revealed into one that like makes you go fetch a minion too, and then you've got a side scheme and a minion.
Yep. It can be pretty nasty. You have to be careful.
Okay.
Now with taunt, it does cost 1, which I have found to be annoying. I think it's right. I think it probably does need to be 1 cost, but it's really annoying.
Okay.
Because what it does is it turns a single card where, like, so for one way or another, you're getting rid of 1 card to get 3. So you're basically +2, right?
Right.
Well, with taunt, assuming you're having to pay with a card in your hand, you're only getting a +1 with it.
Right.
So that can be
you're right.
kind of rough.
You're right on that one. Now, do you want some of the benefits?
Yes.
What I see is the upside to taunt over one way or another.
Go for it.
Is that you are not limited to a few things. So there is a cost arrow on one way or another. So if you can't do the first half, you can't draw the 3 cards.
Correct.
You're going to get the cards regardless with taunt. So you have some tools in your utility belt. You can use toughs. You're tough. Let me rephrase that, because other characters can't defend against it. So you can defend. You can use your own tough, and you can also use a stun.
Yep. Yes.
And you still get the 3 cards, even if he doesn't actually resolve an attack. He just has to attempt the attack.
Yep. I think there are better ways to overcome the negative effects of the card. I did air quotes for everybody. The negative effects of taunt by the stun and the tough, which makes it more bearable than, say, one way or another where there's no way to like prevent it, I guess, in a way.
So the other thing that I kind of like, it's been one of the like so I've been using this and trying to figure out a Black Widow deck, because she's very villain phase oriented in making
Yes.
her things work. And I think protection as an aspect operates the very same way.
Mm-hmm.
But this introduces a way to play protection cards in the player phase.
Yes. Yep.
And then if you haven't resolved all the like perfect defense type things, exhaust this, draw a card, exhaust this, take something off the main scheme, exhaust this, deal 3 damage, blah, blah, blah. You have the potential to activate some few other things as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like that about Taunt.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think the what it's doing, it's creating, like you said, that, again, air quotes with my fingers, creating that villain phase aspect of the game during the player phase, which can be
Yep.
very helpful if you're playing a certain build.
All right, Ryan. I think it's time
The winner?
the tail of the tape. I think for cost, one way or another, does take the upper hand.
I agree.
As for, I guess you could say, resource cost, I think the potential for it to kind of spiral out of control. I think you do have some type of control to a sense with one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
You could be desperate and only have like one and then have to deal with when revealed effects.
Yep.
Whereas with Taunt, you know what you're getting. You're getting an attack.
Mm-hmm.
There's no real surprise. Plus, you have ways to stop it. So I'm going to give that one to Taunt, I think.
Ooh, tons. Well, I do agree with what you said about one way or another. I don't feel like I've utilized it as much as I could. Being able to search the encounter deck, you can really just like open up the encounter deck and find out what's still there. But most of the time, I don't see that as a huge advantage, so I really don't need to do that all the time. With that said, that max 1 per round is not fun. And yes, you can get stuck where either you don't have a side scheme or you have one that you do not want to put out. And Taunt just has a lot of options to overcome it a little easier than one way or another. So, though I love one way or another, I think I will have to give it to Taunt as the victor.
Yes, go Taunt.
Yes, I love both these cards. I'm super looking forward to a aggression and a leadership version of these. If hopefully they do that one day.
All right, Ryan.
I do have a quick question though.
Okay.
For one way or another, if they did not do the max 1 per round, do you think that would help it? Or do you think it'd just be absolutely chaos?
I think it would be a little bit too much. Well, I don't know. Because once it's played. Unless you've got some way to recur an event. Once it's gone, it's gone. But
I mean, I've had it where I've had 2 one way or another's in the hand.
I don't know. I think it. No, I agree with you. You don't want to make it where it's like too good too often.
Yeah.
But there's that balance. You could put out some 2 nasty side schemes, and we're not talking player side scheme. We're talking about villain and counter deck side schemes.
Yep.
It's got to come from the encounter deck.
Yep. Until they make, I have no idea if they ever will, but player side schemes that go into the encounter deck. That would be interesting.
Yeah, we saw that with Adam Warlock, that style
those cards.
attempt, right?
Yeah.
At replacing or infiltrating the encounter deck.
Yep. All right.
Return to your corner. We'll
ding,
come out
ding,
for round 2.
Round 2.
All right. Well, in our first episode, I went with some hero cards. And you know me, I gotta go right back to some hero cards.
Ooh, okay, all right.
2 cards that do similar things. And we're going to talk about who does it better. So, I'm going to start out with my girl, Black Widow. I referenced her in the first battle, or in our first round of this episode. Black Widow. She's got a 2-cost upgrade called Grappling Hook. It's a preparation tech. Hero Interrupt. When you reveal a treachery, discard grappling hook. Cancel the effects of that treachery and discard it.
All right,
Ryan.
all right. The challenger is in this corner. Enhanced Spider Sense from Peter Parker Spider-Man. 1-cost event. Superpower. Hero Interrupt. When a treachery card is revealed from the encounter deck, cancel its when revealed effects. My Spidey senses is tingling.
Is it, Ryan? Is it?
His what is this? His Spidey tingle.
Yeah. The movies call it as Peter Tingle, but
Peter Tingle, that's what it is.
yeah. His spider sense.
Yes, so this is interesting because they do very similar things, but one's an upgrade and one's an event. So I'm curious how this one's gonna play out.
Yeah, I've got some thoughts on both. So I'm gonna go with a positive on grappling hook first. So that is one nice thing with grappling hook. It's an upgrade. I play it out. It sits out there. It's out there when I need it. Whereas your spider sense is an event. If you don't got it in your hand, you can't play it.
Mm-hmm.
You need it at the right time, and it's got to be in your hand at the right time. So you got to look into it sometimes.
I agree. I do see that grappling hook is a protection. Not protection, a preparation. So Black Widow's got her gauntlets that can help pay for it. But it is 2 cost. And Spidey Sense is only 1 cost, and it is a superpower. So you can actually, if you have depth focus, you could use that to help pay for it.
Ryan, that's been a topic lately that you can't actually play. You can't actually use depth focus.
During the villain phase. You're right. You're right.
So you could not, but you could use a resource card.
But
so you could use his spider web shooters.
True, but I believe you can do treachery cards on the player phase, can't you? Isn't there a card that lets you do that?
You're not revealing any treachery cards. So I would probably say no. No, it revealed from the encounter. I don't know.
I feel like there's a player card that lets you reveal.
There is. It says like take discard cards until you get a treachery. I don't know which one that is or who does it, but you are right. There is a. Is it a protection card?
It's probably protection. That'd be my guess.
Know. Somebody will tell us.
All right. I will look at it. I will try to find one.
If not, we'll place it right here. Hey everyone, Future Scott here. So the card Ryan was trying to reference was Return the Favor. It's a 0-cost protection event. Hero action. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until you discard a treachery. Reveal that treachery. Deal 5 damage to the villain.
We probably won't.
No.
All right. Yes. Okay. You're right. Depth focus you cannot play because it is a hero response or hero action.
I think it's a hero action.
Yeah. No. Yep. You're right. You cannot play that on the villain phase. Disregard what I said, but still 1 cost. So there you go.
It is cheaper.
It is cheaper. Some positives I would say is hold on.
I have one if you don't have one.
I would say hold on. I'm trying to think of how the rules would work with it. Is there any treachery cards that have a win revealed but also has something else along with it?
So you could have a surge.
Okay.
So that's where grappling hook would be slightly better because the surge could be outside of the when revealed quotes effects that Spider Sense is referencing.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you could have an insight as well.
Okay.
So those would still resolve, but the when revealed quote text would not.
Gotcha.
Whereas Grappling Hook says cancel the effects of that treachery and discard it. So it's the whole card.
One thing you have to consider is the hero itself. Spidey Sense, it's a good card, but it doesn't necessarily do more than what it's doing on the card. There's no Spider-Man's ability doesn't play off of this necessarily, but Grappling Hook does. Not only can you play it in Alter Ego and draw some cards, but if you activate it, you're doing a damage.
Right. So there is some more things by not only do you get to resolve it, they interrupt, you get an additional ability activation.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, that's the whole thing about Black Widow is you're wanting to do that.
Right. So the thing I was going to point out is I would say one is stronger in multiplayer and the other is stronger in solo. So
yes.
Enhanced Spider Sense says when a treachery card, so it could be anybody at the table.
Yep.
You can cancel it. When Grappling Hook is limited to you as the Black Widow player, revealing the treachery.
Yeah. That was one thing that is fairly good for Spidey Senses. Yeah, it's for multiplayer. It's definitely a lot better, or it's not better, more versatile.
Yeah, and with us playing a multiplayer game more often than not, it does take a little bit of advantage on that in that aspect.
Yeah, there's been quite a few times where you've been playing Black Widow and it's like, I'm not the one revealing it.
Yeah.
Like, dang it. You're supposed to help me out, man.
Hey, I'll activate Widow's Bite and stun that minion for you. Deal some damage.
I do appreciate that one. Yeah. What else? Other things?
I think there's 2 of each of these. I know there's 2 grappling hooks. I think there's 2.
I think there's 2
enhanced
Spidey Sense.
Spidey Senses. Yeah. So in that aspect, they're similar. You make a good point about cost. 2 against 1, except for she's got her gauntlets that can effectively make them no cost out of your hand, right? You just have,
of course, he's got his web shooters, which help.
And she can recur preparations with her safe house, so you can effectively grab this out and play it without affecting your hand size.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and you get an additional card, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
If you do it all in Alter Ego, right?
Yep.
This one's
interesting.
Tough.
Yeah,
this is probably the closest versus match for me that we've had so far.
Yeah, I think this one really just comes down to not necessarily what the card says, but rather what it does for the hero overall. And for that reason, I think I would probably give it to Grappling Hook.
Yeah, Grappling Hook. That's what I was going to say too. I think with canceling a full treachery card, not just the when revealed text, the ability to have it out and use it when you need it and not have to kind of luck into it just gives it that little bit extra. And then, like you pointed out, there are so many additional benefits to playing the card for the Black Widow player and getting to it and still getting to use its benefit.
Yeah, it by no means is Enhanced Spidey Sense bad. It's a really solid card. It'd be nice if all the heroes had some form of this, but they can't. But one thing that I didn't mention that I think is an option that you can use is Grappling Hook is a tech upgrade. So that actually allows you to do some stuff in protection, I believe. So
yeah, is it repurpose? Repurpose lets you. Yeah, oh, that's cool.
You could repurpose it and then go pick it back up.
Yeah,
with
make her up.
your warehouse.
She's pretty beefy. 222. It's a good stat line.
Yeah.
Black Widow. If you don't got her, get her. She's good. Then you can play Black Widow against Black Widow here in a few months.
Yeah. So yeah, ding ding ding, Black Widow grappling
Yes.
hook. Great job on this victory.
Now this is probably like a semifinal match. Two really good teams going up. Either team could probably won.
Oh yeah.
Good game. Good game. Good game.
Good game.
Good game.
Nice.
All right, Ryan. What else you got on your mind tonight?
I do have a quick thing that I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about it because I've been playing Nightcrawler, and we're just about ready to bust out our review of him. And we like taking our time. We don't like to just jump out and say, hey, he's this or that. We like to play in different aspects and, get a feel for him. I was thinking about heroes and this idea that some heroes are stuck in an aspect. Of course, you can play any aspect with any hero, but there are some, or at least it feels like there are some heroes that are kind of like they're stuck in one, maybe two aspects, and you can't really play them as effectively with the other ones. And I wanted to get your thoughts on that. One particular one that I'm thinking of that I know you really like is Ghost Spider in Protection. She's really good in Protection, but outside of that, her power level I think greatly gets reduced.
Yeah, that's a good concept of like development, right? Are you pigeonholing heroes into certain aspects? And I think the conversation is a little more nuanced than that, right? Because there could be there's the different aspects of the game. Is this character only fun to play in this one? Or are they fun to play in any? You're just not as strong or don't have as an effective or efficient game. Or are they truly only work in really this one aspect and everything else is just a clunky mess that you've got to deal with as you're playing?
Yep. Yeah, that's my biggest thing is I'm one that I don't like to only play in one aspect. I like when I get a character to play him in all of them just to see how they feel, what different combos can be made. Like I said, I've been playing Nightcrawler, so I've played him in Justice and Protection. I've played him in Leadership. I've recently played him in Aggression, just to get the different feels. And for like a character like him, I felt differently for different aspects, and so some more than others. And it's just been on my mind is it intentional, do you think, that the designers are like, I think we're going to lean more towards this aspect? Or is it just kind of that's just how it is because of how that character plays, their abilities?
So I think a little bit. You're right that there is some different things that are going into it. Because if you think about Nightcrawler for an example, what does he do? He teleports. He's hard to hit. He's real real dodgy kind of. So he kind of has a natural fit for Protection, right?
Yep.
Not only just as being like a someone who's always kind of on the head on a swivel, but there is a protection aspect in this game that's what it does, right? It dodges it tries to get attacked, but does things to make those attacks less effective.
Yep.
So do you focus in on that and go, full steam ahead? Say, he's Protection, so we're gonna make it Protection for this wave. Because they always try and, balance the waves out where you're getting an even number as best as possible.
Yeah. I definitely, out of if I went down the list of heroes, I definitely feel that Protection has been the aspect that most heroes, the way they're designed, has fit more with. And I think part of that is this stat line. I think there are more 3 defense heroes than there are 3 attack or 3 thwart. I think there's only 1 3 thwart. And I'm just talking about basic stats, not
Right.
like if you add on things and what upgrades they can have that increases it. Because off the top of my head, I've got Ghost Spider, I think, has 3 defense. Gambit has 3. Groot has 3. Nightcrawler has 3. Who else has 3?
I
Come
don't
on,
think
that can't be it.
anybody.
Oh,
Does Colossus?
Hulk. Hulk has 3.
He has 3
Colossus,
defense. Okay.
yeah, Hulk has
He's
3
a
defense.
0-3-3.
I guess technically, I don't know if we want to count Wasp or Ant-Man, but they have 3.
Spectrum could be 3. In the right
Spectrum
form.
could be 3. Who else is there? Not Drax. Drax doesn't have 3. Trying to think if there's anyone, but I think that's it for just basic. Oh, Spider-Man has 3. Sorry, Peter Parker Spider-Man has 3. Doesn't he?
I think Ironheart in her
Or
beefy
upgraded
form has 3 as well.
Yeah, Spider-Man has 3.
Oh,
defense.
she's got 3
So
on all of them, actually.
Yeah, she's super jacked. But, I just listed a bunch of heroes that have 3, but can you name me the 3 thwart?
There's just Phoenix. That's it.
Phoenix. And then 3 attack, I think there's only Hulk.
Hulk. Yeah, I think for base, I think you're right. I think everybody else is a 2 with a modifier.
Now, I think part of that is just because the way the game is, the thwart and attack are the most important stats, I feel like. So defense kind of naturally is a little bit behind, but there's been a lot of them, and I feel like those tend to lean more towards protection and how they're built. So,
and there's just something about those 3 defensive characters too, because like most of those you're naming off are pretty good characters. I personally like a high defense.
Yeah, protection's a fun aspect, I feel like. But even though it's not just protection, I do feel like Asgardians, Valkyrie, and Thor really lean more towards aggression, but like multiplayer aggression.
Right. Well, I mean, but you're right. Like the Asgard keyword, I think is like only in aggression.
I think you might be right.
So there's things like that too that are kind of innately built into them to pigeonhole them into those aspects. You can do things in other aspects and blah 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 blah, but they were kind of built for those things.
Yeah, because I mean, ultimately, you want to have fun, and for me, it's fun to try the different aspects and find fun decks. But I would say for a lot of players, it's fun when you're succeeding, and to succeed, you're going to pick the aspect that makes sense for that hero.
So I got another I guess expound on this one, Ryan. I see a lot of people just like store the precons and just kind of pull the precon out. Do you think there's a large group of the community that just plays the recommended or the precon?
I think there are a good chunk that do precon. For me, it's been very hard to do precon decks just because there's 3 of all the extra cards, and sometimes you don't need 3. You only need 1. And so I'm okay with doing a modified precon, but oh man, a full precon it's to me it feels like it's hard to play.
You never go full precon.
I know.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. When I get a new character, I usually play a modified precon just to kind of get my feet wet, see how they play, and then I'll start kind of ripping it apart. See, and I, as a person that stores the game, I don't store any of the. I rarely. I maybe have like 1 or 2 decks made at any given time. I break it all down and store it. That way, I can go build a deck pretty easy.
Yeah, you don't organize by decks. You organize by type.
Yeah,
so
aspect and type.
Yeah, you can't do that with like precon. So
right. And there's certain cards that you want to spread. I mean, there's no like universal card that goes in every deck, but there are common cards that could go in a lot of decks.
Yeah. But yeah, I was just thinking about it, and I see why heroes sometimes are a little bit more pigeonholed, like you talked about, like their actual comic abilities make sense for that aspect kind of thing. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I just don't want it to become too common. I like the versatility to be able to, hey, you can play this new character and it's really fun in all aspects, or at least close enough to that. And so players can just, if I enjoy Justice, I can play him in Justice and be successful in Justice with that character. It's not as fun if that character is very much stuck in an aspect and I try to play Justice and it just doesn't feel right. And it's kind of like, well, I don't want to play this hero anymore because I can't even play it in my aspect.
That's where like I do like when they do come out with characters and the characters have a very specific keyword or trait or something that they like to do when they have those additional aspect cards in the back of the kits.
Yeah. I think
because then you can replace some, you can make him feel like, hey, this card's for this hero in this aspect.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember what pack or what aspect came with Black Widow?
She's Justice.
Justice, that's what I thought. So when she came out, majority of the preparations I think were in Justice, but it introduced some other preparations in the other aspects, so it made it possible. And then since then, I think they've included more. So it's just grown the versatility of Black Widow. She's not stuck in Justice. She can have, like, you seem to like playing her in Protection a lot, but she's got aggression ones that are great. And I don't know about, I guess Leadership doesn't really have a ton of preparations.
No, but the one it has can be really good. Yeah. Now, I think talking about Black Widow and Protection, my philosophy is to try and to use the preparations in the hero phase, which commonly it's only a villain phase thing. The triggers are only interrupting a villain doing something, and then trying to maximize her Sensu.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to think outside the box and make her play a little different.
Yeah.
I think Protection leans to some of those forced triggers outside of the normal villain phase.
Yeah. But I will be bringing this back up when we discuss Nightcrawler, because I have some thoughts involving this that I want to share, but I'm going to hold off, just whet the appetite of the listeners and get them ready for when we record that. It's going to be might be a little controversy. Probably not controversy. we use controversy like people are fighting over it, but I think it's more just like a hot take.
Okay. All right. Well, this is a good. It's a good discussion, because you're coming from the standpoint that you want the developers to try and not get them so focused on an aspect that they're kind of stuck, right? You want to make it where it's like, yes, you come with this aspect and you do well in this aspect, but you could really work with any aspect and have a good pool of cards for what the hero wants to do, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
My biggest thing being like Ghost Spider. Her whole ability and stuff really revolves around like that response, and that fits great with Protection. She's great in it, but outside of that, is really hard to navigate. That the card pool hasn't expanded with those words well enough.
I think the phrasing that it's once per phase, kind of like we pointed out with protection. Protection lets you do a lot on the villain phase, where you're already innately able to do a bunch on the player phase. Protection lends itself towards that villain phase of being able to work with protection, whereas the other ones, you're already doing things on the player phase, so you can only do it once, and you already get to do them. So that's where her protection benefits her, because she gets to double dip.
Yes, and so I'm hoping is that just like Black Widow, they will be able to come out with more cards that will open up possibilities for her in the other aspects.
Sure, like an aspect card that would interrupt something in the villain phase.
Yeah,
like a justice card or a leadership card or something.
Yes, something. Because I remember when we first had Ghost Spider and I was playing her, I was searching for all like the response and interrupts, and there was so little in all the aspects except for protection. I was like, hey, how am I supposed to make a deck outside?
Yeah.
So I hope as the card pool grows, they continue to evolve that to make heroes that may feel stuck be able to break them loose into the other aspects, which I'm sure they will over time, because they generally go back and you find cards that work great for others in the past.
Right. And that's the nice thing about this game is you're like, ooh, this one card would be really good with this hero from 6 waves ago.
Yep. So
yeah, we recently
that's my hope.
Played Spider, and she's got a card that lets you discard a whole bunch. So it's like, hey, we get to use all these if discarded, do this. That when I played originally, it was just not a thing.
Yep. And it worked pretty good, I would say.
Yeah, that was a fun game. That was a lot of fun. Spider's good.
She is. That's a crazy hero. We'll have to talk about Spider. It's one of those where you like face value, you're like, how in the world does this hero work? But then it
shouldn't work
extremely well.
But I know, I had some crazy turns.
Yeah,
it's good. Good time.
Well, cool. Well, thank you for indulging in my nonsensical conversation.
Okay. Well, I like it, Ryan. You're a philosophizer when it comes to Marvel Champions.
I'm a champifizer. Okay, cut that part out.
You're a champifizer.
Champifizer.
All right. Well, let's see. I think the versus winners were pretty clear in this one, so we're not going to poll the audience on this one. I think you should tell us, what hero do you think is pigeonholed into an aspect? So what hero and what aspect do you think? Or which hero do you think wasn't or shouldn't be pigeonholed into an aspect? Let us know. Reach out to us at marvelchampionspod@gmail.com. I got one other small announcement, Ryan.
Oh no.
We're working on our end of year recap show.
That's right.
So coming up here in a couple weeks, we're going to be sending out a survey for everybody to fill out, because we want to get the audience. We want to give out some audience awards to the 2024 Marvel Champions Wave. We want to get your take. So not only will they get to win the awards from us, but as voted on by our listeners. So be on the lookout for that. We're going to put it out in a bunch of different places. Vote on the stuff. Magneto's, holding up some of it. So we got to see what is all in his kit before we can finalize a few things. So,
yep.
As soon as we know, we will post it out there and let everybody vote. And you can participate. So, be on the lookout for that soon. And as always, if you want to go from a chump to a champ, listen to the Marvel Champions podcast. Thanks.
Keep playing this great game.